Hey there. So you've seen the thumbnail and the title of the video. So let's get started because I want to talk about a few topics here, such as the whole XR wave, about which I want to talk about here as well as in a different video, about what it takes for some tech to become mainstream and things around that. So since this is a slightly different video from how I usually take videos, I do have a few points written down here, so I'll just keep looking every now and then. I'll try not to, but just know that this is happening, so don't mind me at all. Let's get started. So, not many of you might know that I actually have a virtual reality company that's been running for almost 3 years now, and we have been working on a virtual reality product that's meant for children with autism and other conditions. So, what we've actually tried doing is actually capturing the essence, the magic of virtual reality, which we believe is the actual ability to take any person from anywhere to any place without actually taking them there physically, right? And taking this magic and helping neurodivergent children, right? As I said, children with autism and other similar conditions, helping them with skills, getting them very comfortable with different places, different things that they need to do every day, just so that they're able to make it through a neurotypical society, right? And so this product has been in the works for a while and it's been running its course. And at this point in time, we're letting it take its time, letting it take its pace, and the team and the work is structured accordingly. This was actually always the plan, to start early and actually keep waiting for the XR wave. So what do I mean by XR wave? Let me actually take you back to 2020, 2021. As you all know, this was the same time when the lockdown was going on, when everybody wanted to connect with each other as much as they can with video calls, texts, multiplayer games, and so on. But this was around the same time, technologically, virtual reality was also becoming much more popular as a standalone headset with your Oculus Quest 2 or your Pico Neo 2 or even your PC VR headsets such as your Vario headsets. And this was around the same time when Xiaomi glasses and Geo glasses were being rumored to be made to be released soon. They still aren't here. So all of this pushed aside, there was something much more important happening on the content side. Decentralization. Decentralization, I do not just mean the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency hype that was going on then, but I also specifically mean the way that content was being not just made, but also consumed at that time. This was around the same time when not just your regular content creators were becoming much more popular, but I'm talking about how it's being viewed in the same house. Let's say there are about 4 to 5 people in the same house. I bet each person in that house were using a different device to watch something completely different from another person in the same house, right? And this has only become much more common, much more normalized. And combine this with the fact that we are so obsessed with making tech wearable, portable, and wireless and seamless. So combining all of this together, the answer seems very obvious, right? Virtual reality seems to be the future, where it's the best of all of this, and it is already on the way. So this was the plan, to start early in virtual reality while I had much more familiarity with the tech itself, and use virtual reality's essence to make not just the best and the most serious use case, but also the most impactful and most helpful use case that we could find and we could actually get behind, and go deeper and deeper in research and then wider in use cases as we keep growing. So when I decided this, when I doubled down on this, I did my research, quit my job, convinced my parents, registered, incubated, formed a team, worked, and set everything up. But the VR wave never came. Why? That's exactly where there's a little bit of a nuance, right? So to try and make you understand this a little better, let me actually ask you how you remember the iPhone to become popular. We could imagine iPhone was introduced on stage by Steve Jobs as the device that could be your calendar, your music player, your telephone, and much more. And iPhone got picked up and everybody was using it, right? But that wasn't the case. That actually wasn't the case, because as soon as the iPhone got launched, everybody was super happy with it actually being released. They picked it up only to realize there were only 16 apps on the phone and not much else, right? And so everybody saw that and it started collecting dust. This was the case for quite some time until Apple came out with something called the App Store that is still used to this day. And this being the case, the rest is history. So let's actually take what worked here and what didn't. So ingredients that you need to make an ecosystem.
I said, let him cook!
You need your hardware, you need your software to actually make the headset and the OS that runs inside that. And then you need your apps to actually be the games that you play. And you need you to actually play these games and make this ecosystem complete. And if you put them together at the right proportion, at the right time, more importantly, you'll get boom, your ecosystem. But in the case of virtual reality, the question is, which of these do you put first? That's the challenge. If users were to buy the headset first off, the headsets are costly because there is no R&D being done. So there are no devices that are at a cheaper price. So even if you buy the headsets, there are not enough apps because the developers haven't entered. So what if the developer comes in first? So for the developers to build apps, they need to buy the headsets first. But the headset is costly. And even if they buy the headsets to develop on them, to test on them, and to see if the idea will actually work, there's not enough traction. Just as for the developer, there is not enough user traction for them to even consider VR headset as a hardware to it, or even spend their R&D. So as you can see, nobody can actually enter first because it keeps becoming a problem, right? And ingadan kadasiya vandu sendar investor. So investors can actually supercharge your developers and your manufacturers to be able to let them make the first move. And because if they do make their first move, you'll be able to spend on R&D, spend on app development, and be able to artificially kickstart this whole ecosystem and make the users feel like there's so much work going on here, so that they can be encouraged to buy it. And this is exactly what Zuckerberg did. Meta actually saw potential in the whole VR, XR industry and the whole metaverse concept. And so what they did was pump in all the ad money that they had earned over the years to take a bet on the VR hardware. But this surely is a place for investors to give and take. So even after all of this, the question still remains, why isn't the VR wave here yet? And that's exactly what we're going to see in the next video. In the next video, we're going to be looking at the problems that virtual reality itself has, and secondly, the business opportunities that arrive as a result of that. So catch you in the next video.